Masters of Sex is clearly your most dramatic undertaking in your career. What frightened you the most about making that transition? Because you had done mostly comedic roles.
I mean, the transition itself was really scary for me. Luckily, it served the character really well to feel like a fish out of water, to be intimidated by the man I was working with, and to feel like he was just more established in the world I was entering into. It ended up really helping me. Even though, yes, it's a very dramatic role, I see myself as somebody who can do both now, which I did not see myself as somebody who could do both before. But I believe that the best dramas have moments of comedy and levity, and the best comedies have moments of real depth and emotional depth. And that's what audiences are coming to expect, which is really nice. And so as an actor, you can find a role that has both of those things. And people don't really settle for something that's just a straightforward comedy anymore. It's not good enough.
I did want to get to something that affects every person at this table or has in your career, which is how to deal with nudity. What is your relationship with having to do these kind of scenes now? Maybe start with Lizzy, because your show is definitely the most...
Show my titties all the time.
Show tits.
Yeah, show tits. Hey! I think the time...
Like, hey, I love your work.
A lot of that. My dad's friends, I love the show.
Oh no, that's the worst.
Yeah, it really is. I think the moment that I was the most afraid of nudity was before I did it for the very first time, which was on another show on True Blood. And after doing it for the first time, it just got so much easier. It still isn't my favorite thing to do at work. It's never 100% comfortable, but I do think I'm at a point where it's as close as it's going to get. There was one moment, I haven't watched any of the second season of my show until last night. There's a moment where he like kind of takes my robe off and I'm naked, and then I transition into a locked eye, full-on masturbation scene, like from beginning to end, completely naked. And that moment...
And where's the camera?
The camera, well, it was one of our... Yeah. Well, and mostly my face, honestly. We have a female showrunner, and she considers herself a bit of a prude.
She is, yeah.
Yeah, she is. And I don't believe we have gratuitous sex scenes, even though there's so many sex scenes. I really believe our show's about sex. It moves the story forward, and we all really hold her to that, and it's not that difficult to do because she doesn't really want to shoot those kinds of scenes anyway.
We could have an affair. Millions of people do, but an affair is a fairly pedestrian thing, and the story always ends the same.
Does it?
But I remember being in my trailer, and really for the first time since starting the show, thinking like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to go out there and have to do this. I'm very uncomfortable. Nobody was making me uncomfortable. It's just shitty to have to stand there completely naked.
Vulnerable. It's completely vulnerable.
Yeah,
Should
and
be
so
uncomfortable.
the reason, exactly, and it should be uncomfortable. And the nature of that scene, it's the masturbation in front of a man is so easily like this sort of theatrical, like moaning, like, oh God, but that's so for him. And that moment, it was the total opposite. It was supposed to be for her. He wants her to beg him for sex. She's
dominated him in that scene.
Yeah, and in that moment, it's so quiet, and she gets off, but it's for her. Whilst it's a power play. It's not like, oh, look at me masturbating for your enjoyment. That said, it was rough. The only good part about it is they're really cool when I say, okay, let's do this in 2 takes because I don't want to do this all day long. And they're great about it. And then 2 weeks later, Michael Sheen had to do the exact same thing. I'd like to start working with some really good directors because I haven't done all that many films, let alone like those actually really good films.
What's a dream director?
I mean, I'm a huge, huge Wes Anderson fan, but like the Coen brothers would be the first one. Or like David O. Russell.
Brothers movies.
Thanks, guys.
They make a movie a year, so you have a good chance.
They do. I couldn't. The script of that Hail Caesar,
Right.
for some much smaller role that I don't even think I could have done anyway, but I was afraid to even read it because I knew that I wouldn't want to read any other script. And every other script would just pale in comparison for like 6 months. So that's probably not the way to get a part in one of their movies, by not reading the script and not going after it, but baby steps.